So, as Bhaiya said, Sri Aurobindo's birthday being on 15th August. On 15th August, we know it is a very important day for us. It is the freedom we got on that day, 15th August 1947. So I'll just continue with where he left. On 15th August, as we can see, Sri Aurobindo's vision of the future world. तो हम vision किसको कहते हैं? Any idea, any guess कि what is a vision? If I ask you what is your vision regarding India, what would you say? What would be your answer? Yes? Parivartan. Anything else? Yes? Diversities. Okay. Vision. Okay. So, vision is something, it can be categorized. If we say that being here, we can see the moon. Every evening, every night, we are seeing the moon, right? So, but who will give a better picture of the moon? An astronaut or us? Astronaut, because they have been there, being in the moon. When they come back to Earth, they can give us a better elaboration, a better description of what the moon is, what it is all about, right? So similarly, great men, when they foresee something, it is because they have been there, they have already seen what is going to happen, they have been to the future, and they keep in front of us. They come back to the present and let us know what is there in the future. So things which have already occurred. Like in 1918, as Bhaiya said, when Sri Aurobindo was in Pondicherry, he was busy in his sadhana. That time an activist from Gujarat, he came to meet him for the first time, and he gave him report about the freedom struggle, the revolutionary activities that were going on. Then Sri Aurobindo asked him that all those are fine, but how is your spiritual practice going on? Then he said, India is not free. I am not able to sleep in the night thinking all the time about the freedom of India. Then how can they get into spiritual practices? Then again Sri Aurobindo says, what if you get the assurance that India will be free? Then he is asking, but who will give me the assurance? Then Sri Aurobindo remains silent for some time and he is saying, what if I give you the assurance? Then he says, if you give me the assurance, then I take it. But again, human mind, he is full of doubts. Again he is asking, but what is the percentage of certainty that India will be free? Then Sri Aurobindo is saying that it is as certain as the rising of the sun tomorrow. You can take it from me, that is India's freedom is as certain as the rising of the sun tomorrow. So with this assurance, he continued, he took it from him, his words very strongly, and he said that India will be free. It is already destined, but now it is time to go for something higher. So on 1947, when India actually achieved her freedom, it was Sri Aurobindo's birthday. He was asked to deliver a speech in the All India Radio, and that talk was broadcasted in All India Radio. There he says that I got a very special gift on my birthday, that is freedom of India. But although I got this gift, the divine has given me this gift on my birthday, but I got it in a divided form. What is it? What is the division? We all know. So that's what he said, that now I have just got it in divided form, which won't stay, which won't remain forever, that also I am sure about. So there he says, I wanted to share 5 dreams which is not only mine, but it is a dream of every individual. It is the dream of humanity. So here, there he says, my first dream, here he is sharing his 5 dreams. Said his first dream was to have a free and united India. Says India, although it is free, but if someone is crippled, he won't be able to achieve 100% in his life. How much ever he does, how much ever he excels in all the field, but somewhere, if it is not perfect, then it is difficult to achieve its true role, its true aim, its true goal. So here Sri Aurobindo says, for India, it is necessary for the greatness of India's future. What? The unity. Unity must and will be achieved. So this is his vision, his first dream for India, that a united India will stand, which will take control over the whole world. And this is, I think, these are the countries which will get united to form the Akhand Bharat. And this is how the map of India, united India, would look like. So these are the countries: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Burma, India, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Tibet. Okay. So these 9 countries, Burma is Myanmar, for your information if you are getting confused. So these 9 countries will come together to form the Akhand Bharat, or the united India. So Sri Aurobindo says, for India to have its true position in the world, it has to be united. The partition must go. So this was his first dream. His second dream, Sri Aurobindo says, the liberation and council of Asian nations. He says, if any idea how many countries are there in Asia? How many nations as of now? Yes, 45 or 46 as per the latest survey. So Sri Aurobindo says that all these 46 nations will come together to form a confederation. So with this, when they will come together, they will be united, they will be liberated, and the liberated Asia will rule the world. And this ruling will not be of authority, but out of freedom. All the countries will have their freedom of work, but they will be aiming at the same goal. For example, we can see the work may be contradictory. Like if we are driving a car, the aim of the car is to reach its destination. But what is the role of the brake? To stop the car, and the role of the accelerator is to accelerator speed, increase the speed. So both the nature are contradicting. But does it mean that the brake does not want the car to reach its destination? Or does the accelerator doesn't want the car to reach its destination? Both have contradictory work, their nature of work is contradicting, but the aim is still the same. Similarly, every nation will have its own work, will have its own nature of work, but the aim will be the same. So this is what Sri Aurobindo's second dream is about. He says, even in the liberation of Asia, India has a greater role to play. Then he shares his third dream, that is world union. So how many countries are there in the world right now? Any guess? Yes, I think some answers are coming. 200. Close to 200 or 196, 197, somewhat that. So, all these, Sri Aurobindo says, all these countries, now everywhere we can see somewhere this dream, this thing is being worked out, because this is not only today that we are talking about world union, but in our ancient scriptures from our ancient times, this has been coming up, that as we say, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. So the entire world is our home. So this has to be this. Now the time has come for this to become truth, to be realized. So a day will come when all the countries will come together, will unite together, but for a common goal. And that union will not take place under any authority or any human authority, as we can say, but if all are driven by the true self, by the spirit, and all of them aim towards the supreme goal. So when that happens, then all the countries, all the individuals of the world can come together. So taking this as an experiment, as a base of experiment, the mother in Pondicherry, very close to Pondicherry, there is a town called Auroville. So she started a small experiment. There is a town called Auroville where people from all over the world, from different countries, we can take from more than 100. First, during its construction, soil from 125 countries were brought together for its construction. Okay. So, and how do people live there? They live beyond all religion, beyond caste, creed. They just live to serve the divine. And if we compare the kind of work they do there, it is actually almost incomparable with any other nature of work. Because every minute, every second, every moment they aim at newness. In the field of construction, in the field of agriculture, in any field we can see solar panel, this solar work also they do there. Everything, whatever they do with an aim to get something new. But they do it not for money, but to culture the faculties which will become an able instrument to serve the divine. So this is the concept of Auroville, and that this is a small experiment which mother did in Auroville near Pondicherry. And this, she says, this is a time that a day will come when the entire world will work only for the Supreme, will live only for the Supreme. Then his fourth dream, he said, India will be the spiritual leader of the world. So even Swami Vivekananda says that the best gift that India has given to the world is spirituality. He says Swami Vivekananda says, every country has a backbone on the basis of which it can stand erect, which gives it strength to stand. For example, for some countries their backbone is the culture, for some countries their politics, for some countries their economy, but for India the backbone is spirituality. Because spirituality, as Sri Aurobindo also says, it is the gift to Indians, and this gift India will share. India has given to the whole world as well. So here Sri Aurobindo says more and more human eyes are turning towards her with hope. With the hope and even an increasing resort not only to her teachings but to her psychic and spiritual practice. So this is what India has given to the world. But when we look at India now, is it possible to accept that India will be leading the world? How many of you believe that India will lead the world someday? Have this faith? How many of you have this faith? Let's be honest. Yes? Please raise your hand. Yes, that is good. That is much better. So rest of us, the present condition, it is very sure and it is very quite certain that not to believe that India will be the leader of the world, because the way we see India now, it is just the picture that we see now. Based on that, we can assume whatever assumptions we can derive or draw. But if we go back to the India which existed in ancient times, what was that India in comparison to now, to the one it is now? अगर हम पुराने मतलब एकदम एंशियंट टाइम ड्यूरिंग वैदिक ऋषिज, उस टाइम पे अगर हम भारत को देखते हैं और आज के भारत को देखते हैं, दोनों में क्या फर्क है? Which was better you feel? Yes? पहले यूनिटी था, अभी यूनिटी नहीं है. Any other difference? Yes? अच्छा, ऐसे कुछ है, कुछ चीज है जिससे कि हम बोल सकते हैं कि हाँ ये भारत में ही था या भारत में ही है जो और कहीं नहीं है? ओके. Once अभी अगर हम देखें in the field of technology, is India well equipped? Is it self-sufficient? No. But in the fields of inventions and discovery, where does India stand? Yeah, nowhere if we see in comparison to the world, rest of the world. But if we compare, if I ask you who invented the aircraft? Yes? How? Where did he belong to? But yes, but in our history, in our books, what do we read? Wright brothers. But the source of everything, the origin of everything lies in India only. Once there was in an article it had come out, one Bill Gates was asked that why do you hire people from India only? Why most of our employees in our country are from India? Then his answer was that because if we don't hire Indians in America, then the same brain will develop such kind of a software country in India itself that people will stop asking about America. So this is the richness we have, which we have lost somewhere or we have forgotten about it, but very soon this is going to come back. When India was in a very depleted condition, that time Swami Vivekananda had said, here we can see the message towards the end, arise awake and see her seated on her eternal throne, rejuvenated, more glorious than she ever was, this motherland of ours. So this is its true position, because he said, that time he had said, I see India as the leader of the world. And this is how Sri Aurobindo has also said, I look upon my country as the mother, I adore her, I worship her as the mother. So more than us, more than we Indians know about India, the Western people from the Western countries, the great men from foreign countries, they have understood India much better. As you can see the quote from Albert Einstein, he says, we owe a lot to the Indians who taught us how to count. Why? The invention of zero. Who invented zero? Aryabhatta. So we have so much things, so much richness which we ourselves are not aware about, and it is our role, if now at least we are conscious, to get back that lost glory, not in that form but in a newer form. As Swami Vivekananda says, sages will arise, sages will again come up, much more and much better than the ones in the ancient times. So this is our role, to get back the lost glory and go towards it with a newer and better form. So Sri Aurobindo says, India was great, India is great, and India will be greatest in future. So there is no doubt about it. Okay? So here you can also see the quote from Mark Twain, the father of modern literature. India is the cradle of the human race, the birthplace of human speech, the mother of history, the grandmother of legend, and the great-grandmother of tradition. Okay, so this is what India's true position is. And second point, first, our role is to realize the position of true India and the relation we have with our country. Till now, as an Indian, what do we think a true patriot should have in himself? अगर हम अपने आप को एक सच्चा देशभक्त बोलते हैं, उसमें क्या गुण होना चाहिए? First आप क्या सोचते हैं? If you love your country, what justifies that you love your country? Yes, we? What kind of respect we have? If you get a job abroad, won't you go there? Won't you take up that job? Then what would you say then? What kind of respect is that for my country? How else do you think that we have respect for our country? Or how can we justify our love for the country? If some enemy countries attack us, what do we do then? Those who fight, they are in the borders. That's the Indian army. But what do we do at that time? Eat, pray, sleep. Right? So, yes? What's your answer? Please share with us. Everybody can laugh. क्या बोले? क्या करके जाएगा? Okay. So whatever we have, the most important thing is, have we developed a good relationship, the necessary relationship with our country? So this will make India. India will be great anyhow, whether we contribute or not. But as we say, even Sri Aurobindo says that like every person has an individuality, every person has a soul. Similarly, every country has a soul. Every country has an individuality. So if we identify ourselves with the soul of our country, if we identify ourselves with that truth, then we play a role in its greatness. So this is what was Sri Aurobindo's dream. And the next thing which I actually wanted to bring out, as I was asking about the wars, when a war breaks out between India and China, what is our feeling for the opposite country? Hatred. We are full, whether we fight or not, but we can hate very nicely. But here mother says that wars will always be fought, but if they are fought with a sense of goodwill, with a feeling of goodwill and love, then definitely the victory will be permanent. Since till now we are fighting with the feeling of hatred and bad will, that is why wars after wars are being fought without a solution, without a permanent solution. So if this develops and this capacity is there with Indians, this is possible by the Indians. So when we develop this capacity, this feeling, then definitely this is how we are going to be the leader. And this leadership will be based on not on any mental activities, but on when we are driven by our soul, when we are driven by our spirit. This is when we can lead the world. Then the last dream, fifth dream of Sri Aurobindo is the birth of a new age. So here, as Bhaiya was saying, when Sri Aurobindo he left his participation in the freedom struggle and went to Pondicherry in 1910. From 1910 to 1950, he was immersed in sadhana. He concentrated for 40 years because that time he had a vision that humanity is now not the man is not the supreme creation. As we evolved from animals, similarly now the time has come for humanity to go to a next step in the process of evolution, and that is to be driven not by mind but by a higher mind, a divine mind, by the soul. So this is what he says, that now the time has come for humanity to be transformed into a divine being. That was his statement, which created havoc all over the world. He says man is a transitional being. Like his one step is in animality and another step is towards divinity. So now the time has come when whatever he has aspired from right from the beginning of the creation, it will become truth, and his aspiration is going to yield its result, because whatever he has wanted, he has aspired. Has any of us ever wanted to be sad in our life? We wanted but permanent happiness and permanent, nothing has become permanent yet. So that's what Sri Aurobindo says. After concentrating for 40 years, a force descended here, that is called the supramental force, which after the descent of which this has become a truth, that whatever humanity has aspired for, this transformation has become a certainty. That man will go to the next step in the process of evolution, that is towards the divine man. So here he says you can be sure that the best possible will happen, and that the whole world is going as quickly as possible towards its golden transformation. And what is our role in that? The more we aspire to get off, to come out of our bondage, जो चीज हमको रोक रखा है, जो चीज जैसे भैया वो सिंह, अगर मैं आपको बोलूं थोड़ा हंस के दिखाओ, कैन यू स्माइल? मुझ पे गुस्सा करके दिखाओ अभी. Is it possible instantly? You may say yes, that would be just an acting, it would be a pretension, but it won't come out. For that you need a situation, you need such environment, you need certain people who would disobey you. Only then you can be angry. But this is what Sri Aurobindo says, that which is permanent within us, the happiness, the truth, that love, unconditional love, that thing will be established permanently on earth. And this, after the descent of the supramental force, Sri Aurobindo says, now it is the possibility for earth to turn into heaven. Now we don't have to go anywhere. How the earth will turn into heaven? When each one of us, in each one of us, the divinity will manifest within us. So for that, first our aspiration should be to get off from our lower nature. वो जो चीजें जो हमको रोक के रखी है, जो बांध के रखी है, जैसे हम बता रहे थे अभी फ्रीडम, कौन से चीजें हैं जो हमको फ्रीडम नहीं देता? अभी आपको सुबह उठना पसंद है? क्या है जो कि आपको रोक रहा है? नींद, इनर्शिया. हमारे अपने नहीं है, हम उनको घर में बिठा रखे हैं, हम अपने आप में उनको बिठा के रखे हैं, इसलिए वो हमको रोक रखे हैं. और हम उनको इनवाइट किए हैं, चाय बिस्किट खिला रहे हैं, इसलिए वो लोग आराम से हैं अंदर. जब हम उनको बाहर निकालेंगे, जब हम उनको आने से रोकेंगे अपने अंदर, तभी वो और नहीं आएंगे. एंड जो असल में है, हमारे जो ट्रुथ है, वो परमानेंटली एस्टैब्लिश होगा. So this is the message of Mother and Sri Aurobindo to the entire humanity, to the whole world. Mother says the world is going for a big change. एक बहुत महान बदलाव आने वाला है. Will you help? Yes. So how do we help? The more we become conscious of this truth about the next step in the evolution of humanity, तो उसके बारे में हम जितना, और हमारे सारे एक्टिविटीज अगर हम उसी एम को आगे रख के करते हैं, it is only then, it is not only for success that we are here, it is for perfection. When we realize that, then alone this world is, the transformation of the world will be more intensified and rapid. Okay. Thank you so much.